Hi again, everyone. I'm William from the Art House, and I have an amazing gift to share with you. This is our art box. Now, our art box here, this is our first one. This is our printmaking. And what this is a printmaking studio in a box. Okay, so let's open this up. Let's see what's inside here. Okay, so each box is going to have a number of printmaking supplies. Check this out. I got some ink in here. Each box is going to have some styrofoam, what we call matrices. We'll talk about those in a minute. I'm going to have a plastic spoon. Each one should come with a pen. This is my favorite here. This is what we call a brayer. This is for rolling out the ink. I'll show you what this is about. We should have some good quality printmaking paper and just some copy paper for putting the ink on. All right, so I have my styrofoam plate here. This is styrofoam, what we call a matrix. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ballpoint pen. And with this ballpoint pen, I'm going to draw an image on my styrofoam, okay? So I'm going to get my styrofoam, my ballpoint pen, and I'm just going to begin to draw an image here. So I'm just going to draw a little flower right here. And don't worry about making any mistakes. Don't worry about your image. Just have fun, just enjoy. Just make an image here, okay? Sure. So I'm continuing my drawing here. Now what I'm doing is as I draw, I want to use that ballpoint pen and I want to press down. And I'm pressing down hard enough that I leave a little groove, a little indentation here. Now this is important because when we put ink on this plate here, the ink is not going to go into this groove. So as I draw, I'm pressing down, so I leave a little groove, but don't press too hard. If you press too hard, you'll actually cut right through your plate there. So just press, you can go ahead and draw, and then just go right on top of your lines there and press a little bit more. Now, it doesn't matter if you have ink on your plate. What's more important is that little groove that you create as you draw on this soft styrofoam here. So I am putting my final touches here, just a couple more lines, and this is almost ready to print. Now again, I like to put all kinds of lines. They can be abstract lines. Okay, so I'm going to go, I have two kinds of papers here. I have my nicer quality printing paper. You can tell it kind of has a little bit of texture to it. And then I just have some regular, just kind of printing or copy paper. I'm going to take one of those, I'll take two of those, and I'll lay that down. And I'm just going to take a piece of tape here, and I'm just going to tape it to the table, just so it kind of stays in place. And this paper here, this is what I'm going to put the ink on this paper. Now, the ink will not bleed through, so if you're at home on your kitchen table, don't worry about that. It's not going to mess up the table. I'm going to take a little bit of my ink, and I'm going to squeeze out just a little bit of ink, maybe like the size of, I don't know, maybe a peanut, something like that. A little bit of ink right there. And I'm going to take my brayer. Now this brayer, this is a roller, and what this is going to do, this is going to roll the ink is going to collect on this roller here, and that will then allow me, when this is full of ink, to put the ink onto my matrix, which will allow me then to print onto the paper. Okay? So the first step, I'm going to take my roller and I'm going to begin to load the roller full of ink. And this ink, by the way, this is water-soluble ink. And what that means is if I happen to get the ink on my hands or maybe on the table somewhere where I don't want it, I can always just take kind of a wet rag or a wet washcloth, paper towel, and just wipe it off right away. No problem, okay? So I want to make sure that my roller is all full of ink. There's no bare spots on the roller. That looks good. This one's all ready to go. The nice thing about these rollers is I can set them right upside down like that. I'm going to take another piece of paper here. I'm going to lay my matrix face up on the paper. I'm going to take my roller and I'm just going to load this matrix full of ink here. Just roll it back and forth. I want to make sure I get all the corners, all the sides. You can see how where I have those grooves that I made with my ballpoint pen, the ink does go into those grooves. Get all the corners, all the edges there. Look at that, looking nice, looking nice. Okay. So once I get ink all over my matrix, I'm going to set that back down over here. I'm going to get a piece of my printing paper here. I'm going to take my matrix, pick it up, and set it right on the printmaking paper, just like that. Try and get it centered. If it's a little off-centered, that's okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to press this. Press this down onto my paper, and that ink is nice and sticky, so it will stick. But at this point here, you don't want to move that matrix. Let it sit there. Don't try and pick it up. Don't try and to adjust it if it's off center. Leave it where it is. It'll mess up your image otherwise. So just leave it right there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my paper and my matrix. I'm going to flip them over, put them on a piece of paper here, and this is where this plastic spoon comes in. And what I'm going to do with this spoon is I'm going to rub the rounded part of the spoon onto the paper. Now remember, my styrofoam matrix is stuck to the paper here, and I'm using a lot of pressure, pushing down, pressing this paper onto the styrofoam. And what this is doing, this is collecting all of that ink on the paper there. And you can go in a circular motion, you can go in a straight motion, whatever you want to do is fine. Just make sure, again, you get all of the middle, get all of the sides, get all of the corners of your image, get it all over there. And then once you feel like you have rubbed the entire image onto that paper, then we have the big reveal. Okay? And I'm going to take this. Watch this. We're going to peel this away. Look at that image right there. Nice, huh? Okay. So I got my print here, and now I'm going to clean up a little bit. Now the great thing about putting the ink on this paper is all I have to do is I just take my paper and I'm just going to fold it right in half. Cleanup is that simple, just like this. Now I can go and throw this away. And I'm going to take my ink brayer here, and I'm just going to take it to the sink, and I'm just going to rinse it off with some water. Remember, this is water soluble. Rinse it off with water to get all that ink off there so it's nice and clean. And that way I can do another print as soon as I can. Okay, so really all it took me is about 2 or 3 minutes. You can see I've washed off my brayer just with some water. It came off nice and easy. Remember, I had a little bit of ink on my finger. That came off real easy as well. So cleanup is super easy with this project. That's why we love this project here. Now I want to come back to my print, and so it's all done. And I'm just going to go ahead to finish this off. I'm going to go and give it a title here. Let's call this Flower in the Window. And make sure my name is on there as well. There we go. That's a professional print here. Now the great thing about this project is artists, if you're the creative type, you've done printmaking before, you're into drawing and painting, you can do all kinds of fun, exciting projects with this. If this is your first time with art, that's the great thing about this. This is an easy way to do a printmaking project. So get the kids, get your friends together. What I like about this, it's nice and relaxing. It gives me a chance to just kind of slow down. I can build memories with my family and my friends with this project. So this is a great project to do with those who you love. Now, I do want to say that this Saturday from 1 to 5, the Art House is going to be giving away our next art box. So if you check out our videos, we can go ahead with the next one. I hope that you're there with me, and I'll see you next time.